Okay, in this video, I'm simply going to be explaining the concept of a continuous tension set. What we are trying to achieve with a continuous tension set is being specific about trying to use as much tissue and make a set be able to last a longer amount of time under tension by using this technique. So the goal here is not just to train a bicep curl, which we're going to use a bicep curl for this example, but the goal here is not necessarily to perform a bicep curl, but rather to train the bicep itself in as many different variations of this movement as we can, all in one set. So what we're gonna have Nick do is go into full elbow flexion, shortening the bicep as much as possible to begin. You may wanna start with it in a lengthened position, that could also work, but in this case, we're just going to explain going from a shortened position. In this shortened position, if I just had Nick perform a few reps of a regular bicep curl, we're going to really be stressing a certain line, which is probably going to be right during the in the middle of the bicep. Even though the whole bicep is working, there's going to be specific lines of tissue that are going to be biased if you're only using one position to train this bicep curl. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're going to start in the shortened range, and on top of doing the bicep curl, we're actually going to work through zones. So the first concept that I want to talk about is just working through a zone. So instead of just doing the full range of motion, I want Nick to fail through a first zone, and I'm also going to have him rotate around the shoulder so that that specific line that is biased changes as he rotates. So as he rotates out, he may start to work the inside of the bicep a little bit more, and as he rotates into internal rotation of the shoulder, now this line of tissue is going to be a little bit more advantageous mechanically with gravity to pull on that cable. As he rotates through this, he's going to start failing through this first zone that let's say it's a third of the zone, and as he fails through that zone, meaning he can't get his hand all the way up to his shoulder anymore, then he's going to move on to the next zone so that he can now train a different part of that bicep. We're going to fail through every single zone possible, working through these oscillations and rotating through the shoulder until we get to a fully lengthened position and Nick can't do a full rep anymore. At the end of a continuous tension set, if I ask Nick to be able to do a full rep again, he shouldn't be able to, which is why you only need one set for these continuous tension sets. This concept that we just talked about can be applied to any joint during any exercise, and you can also take that same exercise and do different things with it, like working the elbow instead of the shoulder. My goal here was just to explain the concept and for you to learn the concept so that when you are doing a continuous tension set, whether it's a bicep curl or another exercise, you understand the intention and what you're trying to achieve by it. Another note that is important is the intention here is to train the tissue via the exercise and not to train the exercise itself.